Hey, so I'm seeing a therapist, and I figured that there might be a lot of misconceptions about what it's like to see a therapist, as well as some people just wondering what it might be about. So I'm making this video to give you an insight into what therapy is like from the person who's getting the therapy. Now, I realize that it can be scary if you've never done it before, as many things are, especially considering how media portrays therapy. I feel like a lot of what I see in movies and TV shows is that it's essentially about labeling you, where your individual quirks might not matter that much, and it's more about, oh, you have an Oedipus complex, or oh, you're clearly narcissistic, or stuff like that. And that's very much not the case, at least not from my experience. I say that because therapists are people too. And some of them may be better or worse. Maybe it's not about being better or worse, and it's more about being a fit for you. So from my perspective, what therapy has been is a way to get an outside perspective on your own reality. And with that outside perspective, there's a goal to teach you tools so that you can learn to view your own reality in a bit of a different way. This isn't about brainwashing or anything like that. It's more about introspection. For instance, why do you view your reality the way that you do? For a lot of us, it's going to be based on past experiences teaching us to act a certain way, which then leads us down a specific thought process, which maybe helped us at some point in life, but doesn't necessarily mean that it's always good. As I said before, it's important to find a therapist that works with you, for you, whatever. Somebody that you can get along with and that has a thought pattern that works with you. Now, me personally, I'm very happy with my therapist because, well, she doesn't allow me to just bullshit. And she also gives it to me very straight. She's able to just tell me that, well, now I'm just saying something for the sake of it fitting into my worldview rather than saying something that actually has a value towards me getting better. Something else that you might not expect from therapy is homework. If you think about it, it makes perfect sense, since having an hour or so every 2 weeks probably isn't gonna lead to long-lasting change within you. But if you take that hour and you get some homework that you can work on throughout the time till the next meeting, then you might actually start seeing some change. At least that's the intent. Not too long ago, I got some homework to define what makes a good person. For people that watched my last video, they would know that I struggle with seeing myself as a good person, and I tend to always think that there are things that I can improve on. And it was an interesting task because, well, I've never really thought about it. I've just thought of myself as needing to be better in general. And to be honest with you, I feel like I failed spectacularly. You see, she told me, write a list of what makes a good person. I interpreted that as write a list of what would make you a better person. With that failure, of course, there was still a lesson to be taken from that, because first of all, I realized that all of the things that I wanted to become better at or would show that I'm a good person were generally things that I felt like I needed to do to be better for other people. That might not sound so bad because I feel like we should all strive to just be better people, but it did make me see that I maybe wasn't thinking about myself in a self-caring way, which maybe I have to do. I probably do. So because I feel like I failed, I made another list, and after doing it, I felt a lot better about how I structured it, because I came in with the idea that it needed to be strictly for myself. But then I watched a video that my therapist recommended. It was a video of Brené Brown. In that video, she says she doesn't believe that people can change for the better in a lasting, meaningful way unless it is driven by self-acceptance. So I looked at my list after hearing that and having a bit of a shock at what was said, and I realized that every single point on that list was me saying that I am not good enough. It might sound a bit dramatic to say that one video had that big of an impact on me, but you have to remember that this is after multiple therapy sessions, where essentially it made me realize what my therapist was trying to get me to understand. So even though it might have taken quite a while for me to get it through my thick skull, I feel like the therapy sessions, in combination with having something to watch in between and getting tasks to really think about stuff, have finally gotten me to a point where I'm willing to accept that, okay, now I'm in a position where I need to worry about doing things for myself first and foremost, and not for the reason that I am not good enough for other people. Jesus, that's a big one. Now, the interesting thing about that is that I do have some experience with this from before. I have made this realization at one point in my life, and that was when I was really into exercising. You see, when I grew up, I was always the fat kid, and in my early 20s, I lost 60-ish pounds or something like that, 30 kilos. But I didn't do it in a way where I was proud of it or happy with my results. I was doing it because I wanted to get as far away as possible from what I was. So essentially, that whole journey was built on self-hatred. I was punishing myself, eating the same thing every day, working out even though I was feeling really bad, and getting long-lasting injuries that some of them are still with me to a certain degree. All because I couldn't just say, okay, you're still doing great, take a break and get back at it later, or anything like that. It also came with the drawback that once I stopped, like I hit a road bump in my life and I couldn't motivate myself to do it anymore, I ended up gaining most of it back. And I can't help but wonder if self-acceptance maybe could have made things go in a different way. But either way, I can't remember a time where I've felt self-acceptance. As long as I can remember, I've always been highly critical of every little thing that I do, to the point where I don't necessarily feel like I've ever done anything right. And that has left me in a situation where I don't know where to start. It's all fine and dandy to say that you need self-acceptance to make meaningful change, but where do I get that self-acceptance from? Essentially, I'm in a bit of a catch-22. I can't get better without self-acceptance, but I don't know how to accept myself without getting better. And that's probably something that's going to come up on my next therapy session. Because like I said before, it's about getting the tools to see yourself from a different angle, see your reality from another person's perspective. And therapists are smart. They can guide you into learning how to deal with these type of things. So I'm hoping that has kind of given you an insight on what therapy is. I'm not an expert on therapy, although I have had multiple therapists throughout the years. I've gone multiple times as well. So if you happen to watch this video because you're unsure about therapy and maybe you have a very specific question regarding therapy, then feel free to ask me. And I will do my best to give you my perspective, which I again want to stress that I am not an expert and my experience can differ from yours, but still, it might be helpful and I hope that I can be. Thank you for watching. A very special thanks to my therapist for showing so much patience with me. And also I wanted to say thank you to everybody for the positive response to my last video. Whether in real life or through YouTube comments or likes or whatever, I was a bit shocked at the fact that I didn't get any backlash on it. So I just wanted to say thank you very much so. All right, you all have a great day. Bye.